This is kind of a strange video. I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to show you with it. It's just that I've been thinking about hitting right-handed, which is my weaker side, and how that should differ from hitting left-handed. You can probably not quite see the machine. It's just off the edge here, but I'm, again, not more than 20 feet away from it, so it's throwing at me pretty hard. And what I'm going to try to do here is to use some of the techniques that I've done so successfully left-handed from the dead ball era, and I've really tried to learn from my better side and apply that to my weaker side, instead of just assuming, well, the two are that different and I'm never going to get them much closer together. I think, you know, and as I've said before, I don't think you should hesitate to have differences if you're switch hitting between your two sides, but you can still learn something from the better side. One thing that I have learned and that I'm going to put into practice here is that little coil of the front leg. In fact, I need to do a whole other video on the lower body movement and how important that is for the hands, because I've become aware that in hitting discussions, that's practically never part of the, it's not in serious consideration, and it's very important. But I want that little coil because it helps me get down on that front foot and have that weight transfer that I need to bring the bat down into a straight line into the pitch. I'm also trying to do things that I don't seem to naturally want to do with my strong hand on top. One of them is have a little bit of space between the two hands. That really does accelerate the bat if you have the two hands working in the parallel reverse fashion that we talk about on smallballsuccess.com. And I'm trying to keep this weaker hand, which is on the bottom now. I'm really trying hard to just use these fingers and almost keep the thumb and the pointer off the bat entirely. If I let those clamp around the bat as they want to, I'm not going to have that same flexibility in the wrist, and I'm going to draw the barrel into more of a dip. I need to have that flexibility. I need to have that curve in this wrist. I need to keep these little digits open here so that I can just lever right down into the ball and then punch through with my top hand. And of course, I don't want the top hand to close on the handle for the same reason. It's going to get too strong and it's not going to have that flexibility. And again, if you have your thumbs clamped around the handle, you're going to necessarily draw the barrel into a dip. And we want to go straight down into the ball. So let's see how this works. Front. There we go. Oh boy. I tell you, for as little good weather as we've had here down south to do something like this, and together with the little health problem that I'm having, I just haven't had time to get out here and hit out off an actual machine. So that was a really good round. I was very happy with that. I should have said also that, of course, I'm always doing this as someone who's trying to replicate the dead ball stroke of some of those 400 hitters. I'm trying to go the other way. Wagner, Napoleon Lajoie are two right-handed hitters, very powerful right-handed hitters, and Hornsby a little bit after them. All three of those guys, they could have pulled the ball. They were big. At least the first two were big men for their era, but they all chose to go the other way. They hit lots and lots of doubles and extra base hits, and the main thing is they allowed themselves to be later on the ball to get a better look at it. When I first was rehearsing this, before I actually started the camera running, I seemed to want to get farther back from the plate the way a power hitter does, the way you want to when your strong hand is on top. And I had to keep telling myself, no, don't get nearer to the catcher, get farther away from the plate, get farther back in the box. So by doing that, I allow myself more room to step into the ball and be late and still take a straight line into the pitch and hit a line drive the opposite way. I believe I either hit all of those right up the middle, or of course I didn't actually hit all of them at all, but the ones that I struck well, I hit up the middle, or I even hit the other way. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And you know, one final point, if you're a switch hitter, you're probably, you want to be a high on base percentage guy most of the time. We have had a lot of switch hitters lately who've been power hitters, but still, classically the switch hitter is someone who wants to get on base. And remember that if you're hitting from the right side and you're away from the plate and striding into the ball in this fashion, trying to shoot the ball the other way, well, your momentum is carrying you toward first base. That's a problem that switch hitters usually have. But when you adopt this technique, just as when you hit left-handed, when you step at the ball right-handed, that step is carrying you toward first base. So you have that little split second of edge to beat out the throw. I really think this is, you know, I surprised myself at how many of those techniques from the left side I was able to carry over to the right side. I'm still going to be a different hitter from the right side, but learn from your better side and borrow from that what you can get to work for you as you keep practicing.